What would you see if Jung handed you a mirror, not for your face, but for your soul? Pause. Don't answer yet. Just notice what stirs inside you when you hear the word mirror. Because Jung's mirror was never about glass. It was about seeing the parts of you that hide behind your mask, the public version of you that smiles, posts, performs. He called that mask the persona, the social face we show to fit in. Useful, yes, but it can also cover up what's real. Now look at your feed as if it is that mirror. Every like, every scroll, every tiny spike of envy or rush of validation, these are not random. They're reflections. Jung believed that what we react to in others is often what we've pushed down in ourselves. He called it the shadow, the traits we deny, reject, or don't want to see. And the more we deny them, the more they leak out as reactions, obsessions, and projections. So ask yourself right now, why do certain creators annoy you so much? Why does that stranger's success feel personal? Why does one comment ruin your day, while 100 likes heal it? Jung would say, your feed is not just showing you the world, it's showing you you. The anger that flares, the envy that bites, the craving to be seen. These are signals from the shadow side asking to be acknowledged. The algorithm didn't invent them. It only amplifies what's already there. The mirror is faithful, even when we wish it would lie. Here is the uncomfortable shift. Instead of asking, why are people like this online? Ask, what part of me is lighting up right now and why? If a braggy post burns, is it your disowned ambition asking for air? If a flawless life triggers you, is it your own perfection mask cracking? If attention feels like oxygen, is it your unacknowledged emptiness calling for real connection? This is not blame. This is ownership. Jung's work wasn't about shaming the shadow. It was about integrating it, bringing what's unconscious into the light so it stops controlling you from the dark. When you name the reaction, you weaken its grip. When you claim the trait, you reclaim the energy you gave away, fighting it. So the mirror test begins simple. When I scroll, what hooks me? And what does that say about what I hunger for? When I hate, what am I projecting? And what have I refused to hold in myself? When I perform, which mask is on? And who taught me I had to wear it? Look again into Jung's mirror. Not at your face, at your responses. Because the app reflects your attention, but the mirror reflects your identity. And if that reflection makes you uneasy, good. Discomfort is the door. So before the next scroll, answer softly, honestly, without filters. What is this mirror showing me about the parts of myself I'm finally ready to face? What if I told you that social media isn't just a tool? It's a mirror not of your face, but of your inner world. Every post, every scroll, every like acts as a reflection, sometimes flattering, often unsettling. It shows not just trends or creativity, but your cravings, your fears, and your shadows. This mirror isn't neutral. Algorithms surface the content that binds to your attention, content that mirrors your insecurities, your longings, your unspoken desires. It reflects what you want, what you avoid, and what you silently judge, all amplified and laid bare. Imagine this. You don't just see others online, you see yourself. You see your longing for approval. You feel the pull of comparison when someone's photo sparks a flash of envy or inadequacy. That crisp highlight reel of someone else is also your own unspoken dissatisfaction looking back at you. Psychology even has a name for this. Projection. We project our own hidden beliefs or discomfort onto others instead of owning them. So social media isn't just technology. It's a reflection, a psychological mirror, showing things you might never say out loud, but feel in every heartbeat. And that realization that you're not just scrolling through content, rather you're confronting something within yourself, can be as disarming as it is powerful. Jung believed that the mind itself holds a mirror, not a mirror for the body, but for the unconscious. He called it the mirror of the soul, because what we notice in others is often a reflection of what lies hidden within ourselves. Think about it. When you meet someone and instantly admire their confidence, part of that is your own unlived strength staring back at you. When someone irritates you with arrogance, it may be because you've buried that same trait deep inside, refusing to own it. What you see out there is often what you deny in here. This is the essence of Jung's mirror test. Every judgment, every admiration, every spark of envy, these are not accidents. They are clues. The world around you becomes a screen, and on it you project the traits, the desires, the fears you cannot yet face in yourself. It's unsettling, isn't it? To realize that the people who frustrate you most might actually be carrying the unclaimed fragments of your own personality. That the traits you chase in others might be dormant powers you haven't allowed yourself to use. The mirror of the unconscious never stops working. Every encounter becomes a reflection. Every reaction becomes a signpost. And every person who stirs something inside you is in some way a teacher of what you've left in the shadows. So the question is no longer, what do I see in them? The real question is, what does this mirror reveal about me? Now bring Jung's mirror into today's world. Open your social media feed and you'll see more than updates. You'll see a reflection of yourself. The posts that inspire you reveal your hidden desires. The ones that trigger envy show the parts of you you've suppressed. The people you admire reflect the qualities you've yet to claim. And the ones you criticize often carry the very traits you deny in yourself. Your feed isn't random, it's a psychological mirror. It shows both your light and your shadow, your longings and your fears. And with every scroll, it quietly asks, what part of yourself are you really looking at? Carl Jung described the shadow as the hidden self. The impulses, desires, and traits we deny, repress, or refuse to acknowledge. It's the side of us that doesn't fit the image we want to present. So we push it down, cover it with a mask, and pretend it isn't there. But the shadow doesn't disappear. It waits. It leaks out in subtle ways, through anger we can't explain, through envy that eats at us, through judgment we hurl at others while secretly speaking about ourselves. Now think about the digital world we live in. Social media has become the perfect stage for the shadow. Every like, every follow, every endless scroll. It's not just entertainment, it's projection. When we envy someone's success online, it often points to our own buried ambition, the part of us that longs to rise but fears it might fail. When we judge someone's beauty or their curated lifestyle, it often reveals our own insecurities about being seen and valued. When we obsess over how many likes we get, it's the shadow's craving for validation, dressed up as numbers. The truth is, the digital self, the profile, the posts, the filtered images, is built to hide the shadow. But ironically, the more we curate, the more the shadow pushes through. The resentment we feel, the comparisons that poison us, the constant need for approval, all of it is the denied self begging for recognition. Jung warned that what we refuse to face within, we project onto the world around us. And in the age of social media, that world is louder, faster, and more relentless than ever. So the next time you feel envy rising or judgment sparking, pause. Ask yourself, what is this really about? Is it them, or is it the shadow, my shadow, finding a way to be seen? Because the digital mirror doesn't just reflect others. It reflects you. Not the mask, not the performance, but the hidden self waiting to come home. Is your feed showing you the world, or the pieces of yourself you refuse to face? When you scroll, it feels like you're looking outward. But in truth, you're often looking inward, at reflections you don't realize are your own. That surge of envy when someone shares their success. Is it really about them? Or is it your own ambition, buried under fear, demanding to be acknowledged? That irritation at someone's confidence? Is it their arrogance? Or is it the boldness you've never allowed yourself to express? Even admiration hides a secret. The people you put on pedestals often carry the very qualities you've forgotten to claim in yourself. The uncomfortable truth is this: your feed is less a window into others and more a mirror into you. It doesn't just reflect who they are, it reflects what you crave, what you deny, and what you're still running from. So the real question isn't, what am I seeing out there? It's, what part of myself is this trying to show me in here? We live in two versions of ourselves, the true self and the curated self. The true self is messy. It doubts, it struggles, it craves connection in raw and imperfect ways. It doesn't always have the right words, the perfect photo, or the flawless story. But the curated self, the digital persona, never shows cracks. It's polished, filtered, trimmed down to what we think the world wants to see. It smiles when we're tired. It succeeds when we feel lost. It becomes a mask, convincing others, and sometimes even ourselves, that the performance is real. The trap is subtle but dangerous. The more we invest in the persona, the more we starve the true self. We trade authenticity for approval. We begin to measure our worth not by who we are, but by how well the mask is received. And yet, the mask is never enough. Because likes can't heal emptiness. Follows can't fill silence. The curated self feeds the ego, but the true self hungers for something deeper, to be seen as it really is. So the question becomes, are you living to maintain the mask, or are you willing to let the cracks show and finally meet yourself beneath it? Validation has always been part of being human. We all want to be seen, to be valued, to feel that our existence matters. But social media magnifies this need into an obsession. And every like, every comment, every view becomes a tiny hit of recognition, a reflection that says, yes, you exist. And slowly, the ego learns to crave it, like an addict chasing the next dose. The danger is not in being noticed. The danger is in mistaking these fleeting reflections for reality. When we confuse numbers for worth or applause for identity, we begin to live not for experience, but for performance. Jung warned of this trap long before the digital age. He said that when we cling too tightly to the reflection, we lose sight of what is real and authentic within us. We become prisoners of the mirror, fascinated by the image, but blind to the soul behind it. And this is the silent addiction of our time. Not just to social media, but to the endless echo of ourselves that it reflects back at us. Here is the test. Not a test with right answers, but one that asks for honesty. The next time you scroll through your feed, don't ask, what do I see online? Ask instead, what part of myself am I projecting here? It changes everything. That irritation towards someone's success. Could it be your own ambition, neglected and waiting for expression? That envy toward a perfect image? Could it be your own longing for love, validation, or belonging? That constant craving for likes on your own posts? Could it be the echo of a deeper wound, a child within you still asking, am I enough? This is the mirror test. To see that what provokes you outside is often a signal from inside. The feed doesn't just show the world, it shows the unspoken fragments of you, your hunger, your shadow, your unfinished stories. And here lies the challenge, to stop blaming the reflection and start listening to it. Because every reaction, envy, admiration, anger, longing, is a message. It's not about them, it's about you. Facing this reflection is uncomfortable. It strips away excuses and leaves you standing eye to eye with your own hidden self. But Jung believed this confrontation is the path to wholeness. Only when you see the shadow can you begin to integrate it. Only when you own the projection can you reclaim your power. So ask yourself, not once, but every time you feel that sting online, what part of me is this mirror trying to reveal? Because until you face the reflection, the mirror will not let you go. The addiction isn't really to scrolling. It isn't to the feed, or the screen, or even the endless stream of content. The real addiction is to escape. Every swipe is a distraction from the shadow, the parts of ourselves we don't want to face. The insecurities, the fears, the emptiness that waits in silence. We scroll not just to pass time, but to outrun the voice inside that whispers truths we're not ready to hear. This is why stopping feels impossible. Because putting the phone down doesn't just mean ending the scroll. It means meeting the self you've been avoiding. And for many, that's the hardest confrontation of all. If your shadow was scrolling beside you, would you recognize it? Picture this. You sit with your phone in hand, thumb moving, mind half absent. But beside you sits another figure. Silent, patient, unseen, your shadow. It watches the same feed. It pauses where you pause. It hungers where you hunger. But unlike you, it doesn't hide from the truth. It knows exactly why that post stings, why that success unsettles you, why that stranger's smile feels like a threat. Because your shadow isn't fooled by the story you tell yourself. It doesn't believe the excuses. It's just annoying. It's just fake. It's just them. Your shadow whispers, no, it's you. That is the part of yourself you've left behind. Now imagine this presence watching over your shoulder as you scroll. Every laugh, every spark of envy, every rush of validation. Your shadow marks it down. It knows these are not accidents. They are signals. They are reflections of the pieces of you you'd rather keep buried. And here's the disturbing thought. What if this shadow self is more honest than the persona you show the world? What if the self you deny, your cravings, your fears, your hidden rage, is actually closer to the truth than the mask you polish online? Think about it. If your shadow sat beside you and mirrored your every reaction, would you embrace it? Or would you recoil, the way you do from certain people online, forgetting that it is only showing you what you already carry inside? Jung warned us. Whatever we refuse to acknowledge within, we project onto others. That means every irritation is a mirror. Every admiration, a reflection. Every obsession, a signpost pointing back to the self. So here's the provocation. When you scroll, you are not alone. Your shadow is always there, scrolling with you. It's in the quick judgments, the silent comparisons, the endless thirst for more. And the question is not whether it exists. The question is whether you'll have the courage to see it. Would you recognize your shadow if it sat right next to you? Breathing with you, scrolling with you, showing you the parts of yourself you've worked so hard to ignore? Or would you look away, pretending it was someone else's reflection, someone else's problem, someone else's truth? Because the most haunting possibility is this. You already know the answer. You just don't want to admit it. Jung's mirror does not ask what you look like online. It asks who you really are when the screen goes dark. When the scrolling stops, when the notifications fade, when no one is watching, what remains? The curated self dissolves. The numbers disappear. The spotlight shifts away. And all that's left is you. But who is that you? Is it the mask that smiles for validation? Is it the shadow that whispers in envy and craving? Or is it the self you have never fully dared to meet? This is the final provocation. If every post, every reaction, every projection is a reflection of your hidden self, then the true test is not in what you show others, but in what you finally face in yourself. We spend hours building reflections that please the world, yet we spend so little time confronting the truths that could free us. The hunger for likes, the sting of comparison, the endless scroll. They are not just habits. They are mirrors, each one pointing to the same question. When the performance ends, who are you really? This is the confrontation Jung leaves us with. Not to abandon the mirror, but to look deeper into it. Not to hide from the shadow, but to integrate it. Because until you face the self that waits in the dark, you will always mistake the reflection for the reality. So tonight, when the screen finally goes dark, don't rush to fill the silence. Sit with it. Ask yourself, if there were no audience, no likes, no reflection at all, who would I be? And if that question unsettles you, good. That is where the work begins. You've looked into the mirror. You've seen the shadows that follow you into every scroll, every click, every moment of silence after the screen fades to black. But this journey doesn't end here. It was never about a single video or a single thought. It's about learning to see differently, to treat every reflection, every reaction, as a clue to who you truly are beneath the surface. That is the work of the thought foundry. Not to hand you answers, but to forge questions sharp enough to pierce through the noise. Questions that follow you long after the video ends. Questions that demand not just your attention, but your courage. If something stirred in you today, a quiet unease, a spark of recognition, a voice you can no longer ignore, consider this your invitation, not to consume more, but to journey deeper. To stand again before the mirror and keep asking, what am I really seeing? Here, at the Thought Foundry, every reflection is an opening. Every shadow is a guide. Every question is a step further into the inner world that most people are too afraid to enter. So if you're ready to keep exploring, to face the unsettling truths that shape us all, then let this be the beginning, not the end. The mirror is waiting, and so are we.